Right. If I follow Route 5, that should take me to the hospital. Follow Route 5. Track down Nora. Get her to tell me where Abby is. Easy.
All right, so you can see we're full on tape. Now, if you did pause to take the bat in the Hillcrest basement, this would be a good time to upgrade it, because the purpose of having this bat is to use against the stalkers. The bat that you picked up only has 2 hits on it. By upgrading it, you get 4 hits, and this allows us to easily melee kill a bunch of the stalkers. Now, if you're planning to run through Stalker Offices, you might not care. Might be a waste of your time.
Okay, progress.
Now in this area, we have a place with a little puzzle entrance, which is over on this side, over here, that has some loot. And we also have the pub here, which has loot, but also has 4 infected in it. If you want to get this loot, you can just go in and get it, and you can ignore the pub. There is a little bit of a chance that you can, in getting in here, you can wake up the infected. So I'm going to show you a way to get in here, kill these infected without waking them up, which makes it incredibly easy. And you can pick up the resources in here without any risk to you. So what I've done here is I've come along this side here. I haven't gone close to the pub because I don't want to wake up these enemies. I've climbed on the roof of this van, and I just threw a bottle in the lower right corner of the window. When you throw it there, you will not wake up the infected inside. The reason why I'm standing on the van, if you get too close when you do this, then for some reason they will wake up. So I've just found it easier to stand on the van. I know that I won't wake them up there. It is possible to throw the bottle without climbing on the van, but you should stay kind of far away. I'm pretty sure what's happening is if you're getting close enough, you're sort of spawning in these infected and then they hear it. By staying further away, we're keeping them from initializing, basically. So they don't hear that. We can climb in. We can stealth these two. There's 2 runners that are also asleep. They're in the back room. So we'll get this one. Now, obviously, this does add a little bit of time to your run, but it's such a safe way to do it that I think it's worthwhile. Like, the loot in here is decent. There's some good number of pills. There's some alcohol, things like that. Now, for these 2, these runners are close enough to each other that if I simply grab one and kill it immediately, I will alert the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab him. I'm going to pull him backwards just a little bit, a couple seconds back. And that gets him far enough away so that the second runner does not hear it.
Fuck.
Let's see. We got all those pills there. And we can just take out this one quite easily. Now, if you are doing a collectibles run, there is a letter that one of these drops. However, they only drop it if they're alerted. The last enemy you kill here will drop, and maybe the last runner, will drop it if they're alerted. If you completely stealth kill them, the way I just did, they don't drop that letter. So if you were doing a collectibles run and wanted that letter, then you would deliberately kill this one next to this one so that it's deliberately alerted. One question that you're going to have on a run is, do you want smoke bombs or not? A lot of people don't find them very useful, don't need them. There's a few places where they are handy. And if things go wrong in hospital, that is actually one of them. So it is justifiable at this point to pick up craft smoke bombs. But if you're not going to use it, then you might want to save them to go down this route here. All depends on what you want to do. In my original grounded perma run, I did take the smoke bombs at this point. I don't use it these days as much, but I have very different strats from when I was just doing regular grounded perma. To solve this puzzle and swing over so we can get into this locked room, we need to break the glass here. One reason why I went into the pub first is every once in a while, before I went in to do that, I would find that it's possible to break this window here and wind up alerting the clickers. And basically what happens is if you throw this such that the bottle lands close enough to the pub with the clickers in it, that will wake them up and alert them. Because the bottle or the brick doesn't necessarily break when you do this. So it'll keep going. We can see. Did you hear the second tinkle as the bottle, it kept going and went towards the pub? So it is possible by breaking that glass sometimes to alert those clickers. And that becomes a pain in the ass because you could theoretically ignore them, but they're going to be patrolling all around here. You have to jump to make this rope, and if you miss this jump with the infected down there, they're probably going to grab you. So it's safer to clear the infected first and then jump over here.
Let's see what they got in here.
In this area, we have a locked door. Behind that locked door, the locked door is right here, is a bedroom with 4 WLF Deserters in it. And that door only unlocks when we touch the workbench. Now, you can absolutely skip this. There's not a lot of loot in here. The question is it worth fighting these dudes? Even the easy way that I'm going to show you. Is it worth fighting them for that small amount of loot? That's something you're going to have to decide. You can absolutely skip this. Just never touch this workbench. Grab the stuff that's here and then leave. This is the thing I haven't taken. Oh, we're full on that. If you do want to do this, the easiest thing you can do is just set a trap mine for them. But you have to do it carefully. You have to understand the way that this is going to happen. Once you go trigger the workbench, one guy is going to open the room door, run out, and attack you. The other 3 don't come out until later. So if you're going to set a trap mine, you need to set it somewhere where the first guy out does not trigger it. We want the trap mine to blow up to take out the final 3 that come out. So if I set a trap mine, say, right here in front of the door, it will kill the initial guy, and I'll never get grabbed at the workbench, but then I will have 3 healthy enemies to fight. So I don't want that. Now, exactly where a good place to put the trap mine is depends on whether or not you have taken the improved trap mines upgrade or not. You'll see I do not have it. Because I don't have it, I'm going to put it right here. This is a good place for it if you don't have the upgraded trap mine. Now, if you do have the upgraded trap mine, the first guy coming out will set off this bomb. So this won't work. If you have the upgraded trap mine already, a good place to put it is right here on the edge of the table. You can stand up on the table. You can set it right there. That will work. So what's going to happen is, with the trap mine there, we're going to get grabbed by the first guy. We're going to stun him. Ellie will grab something off of the table, whack him with it. He'll be stunned. And while he's stunned, we're going to grab him and use him as a hostage and just sort of aim at the people coming out. So have a weapon, have a, like, your revolver or whatever equipped. The first 2 people will just run into the trap mine directly. The third woman coming out, by our grabbing him and holding him hostage, she will also run to the right and be close enough to be killed. If we don't grab the guy, if we simply melee kill him immediately, she will move differently and she probably will not get caught up in the blast. So that's our basic strat. We've set our trap mine. We're letting ourselves get grabbed. We're going to grab the guy who attacked us. We're going to wait for the first 3 to come out and get blown up. And then we're just going to melee kill the guy we're holding. That's all there is to this. Now, spamming square. She grabs something to whack him with. Now you see he's stunned, so we can grab him. Now he's our hostage. All 3 of them are dead. And now we can just stab him. And we're done. So if you're willing to use a trap mine here, this is super easy. They almost never drop anything except their livers from the ceiling. So you can see what's in here. There's a quarter of an explosive. There's some pills, 10 pills. And that revolver. And then we can go in and get the stuff in the safe over here. Fun little fact about this safe, because it's a date puzzle, you can actually enter the date in any legitimate format. If you're American, you would enter 10/8/83, but just because this is set in America, it doesn't matter. You can also enter the European way of doing it, 8/10/83. You can even enter 83/10/8. Any permutation of those will work. Not a lot of ammo there, but, you know, it's worth taking. So there is some alcohol up at the top of this scissor lift. You don't actually have to climb onto the scissor lift to get it. You can just stand up here and grab it as you're going past and let Ellie surf the trash can if you want. We're here at the start of what is officially called the newspaper offices. in this area, before we go into the main encounter, there are two side rooms here. There's some bathrooms and there's some offices here. And when you go into either one to go get the stuff that's here, when we come back out, there will be a stalker there. Ordinarily, unless you're doing kill all, I do recommend you simply let him go. And the reason you want to let him go is he'll jump over, but he will not add to the count of the stalkers in the next area. Whether you kill him or not, there are going to be 10 stalkers in that area. In this area, as I just said, there are 10 stalkers, and that can be kind of nasty. There are two strategies here, and I can't necessarily tell you that one is better than the other. Each one has its own advantages and drawbacks. One, you can simply run through the area. Two, you can kill them all. So to do the speedrun strat, we're basically going to be running straight down the hallway in front of us, and we want to stick to the right side of the hallway. If you drift towards the middle, there are two stalkers that can grab you. There's one that's going to be coming from a desk on your left, and then there's one that's going to be a little bit further back. But if you stay right the whole way and you time it correctly, you should be okay. Now, you can have a bottle out. If it looks like the first stalker is going to grab you, you can throw it at him. But with the correct timing, that's not necessary. We're going to start to go forward, but we're not going to start running until they clear. Then we can go. You can see him right behind us. We're sticking right. We're going there. And immediately get out. Now, once you get out of here, you can see they're running away from us. They will sort of retreat to other places. They won't despawn, but we can sneak in here and grab at least this loot that's right here. And then we go back out. And that's how you do the speedrun strat here. So I got grabbed, and I still fought him off and got out. If you decide that the speedrun strat isn't for you, if you're having trouble getting the timing down, then you're going to need to kill all the stalkers. You might be able to sort of fight your way through and kill a couple and then run out, but it's going to be a very iffy thing. Your best bet is simply be systematic and take them all out. If you're going to do this, you want to come in properly prepared. Ideally, you don't want to use too much ammo, although you can see right now we actually have a lot. We're full up on everything, and we can certainly afford to use it. I do recommend, if you're planning to kill all, keep the shotgun in your first slot here, because this is going to be your go-to weapon to bail you out in case you find two stalkers like coming at you at once where you can't melee kill them. But ideally, we want to conserve our ammo, so we want to use melee as much as we can for this. In this case, I picked up the bat. I killed everybody in the basement of Hillcrest, the end of Hillcrest, and we have the bat, which we've now upgraded. So I now have 4 strikes that will one-shot kill these stalkers, with a brick for a 5th kill if I grab them and then stab them after they're grabbed. That lets me kill 5 stalkers pretty easily, and I'm going to use this on the first 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in here, and once we get control, instead of running forward the way we do in the speedrun strat, we go left. This little hallway back here, I won't exactly call it a safe space, but if you retreat in here, the stalkers tend to run away from you unless it's like the last one and they're chasing you or something like that. So you can come back here and get some distance and they'll typically run away from you. Don't totally count on it, but it's a decent place to rest if you need to regroup. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to lure them to me by running a little bit. You can hear, it sounds like one's coming. Now, sometimes they can come from the right here. Most of the time they come this way. So here, we're gonna grab and stab that first one. You gotta watch out for him to dodge back and hit. Always wanna watch out that you're not being flanked. What I'm doing here is I'm just looking for them to start their lunge and I'm dodging away. Don't try to just swing into their lunge. You have to dodge. If you swing into their lunge, they will get a grab on you. You do not want these stalkers to grab you. That takes off more than half of your health. So you can survive one grab if you're at full health, but 2 grabs and you would be in trouble. Okay, so now I've killed the 5 here on this left side. There's 5 more that stay over on this side. So we can now collect some of the loot that's here. If you do get damaged in this area, there is a snack in the break room over here. I would suggest creeping into it rather than just trotting over, because when you go back to that side, you can bring the stalkers down on you. And we're just going to grab the stuff that's here while we're on our way over, and we're going to sneak. Sneak through here. And at this point, all of the remaining stalkers are going to kind of be in the far corner. They'll start to come at us after we get into this room. We can grab this bottle first, and that'll let us get our first kill. So again, they'll come in here normally 1 at a time. Occasionally there'll be 2. I'm just making some noise to try to encourage one of them to come in here. Sometimes they're a bit skittish. Now, since we don't have a melee weapon here, you have to decide if you want to try to do this with a knife to save your ammo, or if you want to use some ammo here. The first one is free. After this, maybe you want to use your weapons. If you want to get good at dodging, which you're going to need later in the game, you can try doing a knife only. And now the trick here, you dodge, knife, and dodge. Try to dodge to one side as you do it. If you do what I did there, if you don't get him in, you get pushed off. You can't spam your knife attacks or anything like that. So what you want to do is you want to dodge and strike, and then dodge again to the side, one side or the other, and then strike again. And then you keep doing that. If they get stunned up against the wall or something, then you can get multiple strikes. Now here, 2 of them came at me at the same time. So now he's stunned up, so I can get multiple strikes in without dodging. But because there were 2 right in a row, I wasn't going to try to melee them, so I just used my shotgun. Nope. So you can see here I'm using the dodge to the side until we get him stunned up, and then we can just take care of him. Alright, so we got one left. Now there is one bottle right out there that if we know where the guy is, we can run out and get and take him out relatively quickly. So that's how you would do kill all. After this, you can loot everything in peace. You get a little bit more by doing this, but with 10 stalkers to kill, I think it's kind of a toss-up as to which one is riskier. Running through and getting grabbed is bad. It can lead you to being surrounded by a swarm and you get taken down before you get a chance to regroup. But with 10 of them, that also can be a problem. This is definitely an area that you need to practice whichever strat you decide you want to go with. If you go to the right side, you'll see that all 10 follow you over here. This makes it a little bit trickier to do than the first way that I showed you, where we start by going to the left, because in that case, they stay grouped 5 and 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. For the next area, when we drop in here, there are 4 stalkers and 1 clicker. We're going to use a molly to try to take out as many of the stalkers as we can. We're going to drop in here. I do have the increased Molotov range here, which does give me an advantage. It makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to throw a bottle right here to lure the stalkers in this area. And we're going to wait for them. 1, 2. We'll see. We'll see how many I got. Might have gotten 3, might have gotten 4. If we're lucky, we can get 4. No, I didn't get him. It's fine. Okay, that was a little close, but we did it.
Okay.
So you can see with that molly, we got 3, and then the clicker. And then we're going to go into this little side room here. This is our first introduction to the stalkers that are growing into the walls. I call them peelers because they peel off of the wall. And we'll just go forward. This is one of those areas where the bottle doesn't necessarily lock on immediately, so just make sure your reticle is pointed right on top of him, and you should be fine for that.
Fuck, Seattle.